All right, hi everyone. Let's talk taxes and how to find accurate tax information and the best way to do this. So ultimately, taxes are a matter of public record, right? So the best way to get tax information is to go right to the accurate source, which would be the municipality, the town, or the village, or for school taxes, the school itself. So all you would do be a Google search for the town. Let's say it's in the town of, oh, I don't know, Davenport in Delaware County. So I would just Google town of Davenport, find their little website. I would find their elected officials page or whatever it is, and I would find the town clerk, or you wouldn't really call the assessor, you would call the town clerk. And all you would do is you call and say, I'm name, insert name, real estate agent with Keller Williams Upstate New York Properties, and I'm interested in getting the tax information for a property. And then all you need is an address, but really what you need is the tax ID, and that would be the section block lot. And sometimes they have an email address. It's pretty easy to also email those county officials, but also I would just give a call. It saves you time, and then what they'll do is they'll just email you those records, and then you can download them, and then you have the actual tax bill. Sweet, perfect. Same thing with the school. Schools have business offices. Just look up the school. I think Davenport is Charlotte Valley, so I would look up Charlotte Valley School District. I would find the business office. I would call the business office, and I would say, can you please email me the taxes for section block lot or address blah blah blah, right? And then that's easy, and that's official. We'll go through a couple of other ways you can do this. The second way, by the way, would be to speak with your seller. If it's for a listing, ask your seller to take photos or to scan or email you their tax documents. Now, quick pro tip. This is actually a subtle way to also vet your seller to see how on the ball they are. If they don't have any of their documents like relatively handy, like, oh, I don't know where my latest tax information is. Well, did you pay your taxes last year? Why do you not know where your school tax bill is? That's something to be concerned with, maybe. So that, anyway, side tip. If they don't know where their tax bills are, then they might not be super organized and have a lot of stuff that they might need in the future. Beyond that, let's talk web. Currently, on our MLS, there is a tax tab. Let me pull up a new tab here. So on the MLS, you can pull up a tax tab right here, and you can click on that, and it's going to open up what's called Apple Miner. And this is like probably low on the hierarchy of what I would do, but since I'm here, let's look at this. You can look at Apple Miner. We're gonna look at one specific property because I was just looking at one that closed earlier today. This property, let's play around with this one. 17500 County Highway 23 in Sydney. This was not our listing, but I showed this property. I liked this property. It was a log cabin house. It had solar panels. It had a full semi-finished basement. It also had a huge pole barn. With a really beautiful like brick driveway. Cool property. I was curious about what that would close for, and it closed at $220 with an asking price of $225. That's not part of what this presentation is, but let's use this as an example. Okay, so what was I just doing? Oh, sorry, we're gonna look up the tax information on that. So what is the section? What is this? 17500 County 23. And the owner's name was Brinson. Okay, so on Apple Miner, you can select the fields that you search for, and some are more annoying than others. Oddly enough, if you try to use the tax map number on this, I never seem to be able to input it in a format that this thing likes. So I always try to go owner or address number, or maybe address and street name. Whatever. In this case, I might even just try address number because that's a weird, unique address, 17,500. So let's just try that. And then all we're going to do is 17,500. 17,500. And let's see how many addresses there are. Okay, there's only the one, which is what I expected. So now we're going to view all, or you can select that. Now, if you see what I'm seeing here, this has the person's name, it has the tax code. By the way, this is a separate thing, but the tax map number, that's your section block lot, but it's also really shortened by this. So 116.-1-60 would be the way we would say the tax ID to the county clerk or anyone that you're talking about. You know, it's the first number dot dash something dash something. Anyway, this goes down and it shows you all of the features that it has on the assessment file. This is what the town believes this property is composed of. Raised ranch, oil fuel, full basement, it's got the shed, it's got the pole barn in there, all this other stuff, right? But if you keep scrolling down, there's all this other information, and then in here it has the assessment value, it has the assessment for the land, and it has the 100% equalization rate, or what is essentially the market value, or it's considered the market value, the amount that it's being taxed on. And then here we have the actual tax numbers, so 2471.32 for the town and 1568.97. And a lot of agents will just use this as their numbers, and I will admit I'm guilty of this because it's easy to pull up, and it's almost like a placeholder. Like when you're inputting a listing, you need to put that information in. You don't want to have nothing. So this is easy to use, and then it's also easy to forget that you didn't get the actual number, and then time can go on, and then you're still, this is just an estimate. This is not real, okay? So that's one way to do it. It's probably the low-hanging fruit. There are other separate websites. This one's called taxlookup.net. And if I go to taxlookup.net, it has, this is for New York, and it's got all these counties. So you could pick whatever county, we're looking at. It's got Schoharie County, but notice in Schoharie County, there's only one file. It's for the Charlotte Valley Schools. If you look at Otsego County is much more complete. It's got all these school districts. It's got several villages. It's got several towns. So that's pretty cool, but very inconsistent. And then for our property of note, we have some school districts. So if you're in Delhi or Charlotte Valley or Deposit, Oneonta, Sullivan West, or Unitego, you can find school information real quick that way. But I can't find my Sydney property anywhere in here, okay? So taxlookup.net doesn't do me a lot of good for our example, but it might in some situations. Let's see, what does Shenango have? Shenango has very few, but it does have Gilbertsville, Mount Upton, and Oxford, so that's kind of nice. There's another one called Info Tax Online, and this one has a whole bunch of villages and stuff. You can sort by county here as well. So let's see, what did they have for Shenango County? They've got Afton, Bainbridge, blah, 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 Norwich City, Sydney Central School, Unadilla. What did they have for Otsego? They've got a limited number, and most of these are school districts. So a lot of these are just school taxes on here. And if we go to Delaware County, we've got Roxbury Central, Sydney, South Courtright, Stamford, Walton. So cool, good for me. Look, check it out. I've got my Sydney Central Schools, so I can look up this property. Now, again, I could put in the owner name, I could put in the street number, I could write the road, but again, because this was a unique address in this case, I'm just going to search for that, and it's going to pull up the information for the school tax. Again, section, block, lot, and it's got all these codes. This property is funky. They've got a star exemption. So we had a question about exemptions. So check this out. This is a little bit hard to understand here. What is happening exactly? They've got a full value, an assessment. They've got a star savings. They've got a tax amount. What is all this? What is going on here? Well, if you click show bill and payment details, this is going to break it down and show you what makes a little bit more sense. Okay. So here we've got the total Sydney Central School tax levy. Their entire tax roll is $6.13 million, and they need to make that up by taxing the township. So our property is $127,000 of that total tax levy. That's their assessment amount. That's not their market value, but their assessment amount. And then they've got their I guess that's kind of like their equalization rate. I don't think that's technically what that is. And then they do have a separate library fee for this town. So if you check it out, their total central tax is $2568.64 plus $242. I'm not going to calculate that, but that's something like $2,800, or is that $2,900, just about. And then if you were to take away their star savings, I think this adds up. If you take away the $1,000, by the way, that's a large star savings. star is usually like 400-ish for a regular kind of single family. So these might be, there might be a veterans exemption in there. There might be a disability exemption as well. You might even be able to look up the star codes. I don't know. You could probably Google that as well, find out what that means. But anyway, the bottom line is they're taking $1,025 away from the total tax bill, and their net tax for the school is this amount. Okay, so that's this case. By the way, there is also Chenango County. You can pull up assessment rolls. Delaware County. You can Google this, and you can pull up assessment rolls for all the towns in Delaware County. Now, again, these are not all fantastic. For example, if I go to Sydney, and what was her name? Brinson? Laura Brinson. So if I try to find this property, check this out. I can go to search up here, and I can type in Brinson, and it's going to quickly search, and it found her property. Oh, they have an enhanced star. It's gonna like file through like a pretend book here, and then down here they've got it highlighted, but it's very tiny. So you can zoom in down here, and then you can drag this thing around, and we check it out. Laura Brinson, again, confirm it's the same property, 116.1-60, and then we see all the same information. We've got that assessed value, we've got the full market value, but what we don't see is actual tax values. So this is the tax roll, but it's not really giving us a ton more information than we already have. And also, you can see they do have an enhanced star value. So if this was my property and I wanted to confirm the taxes, I just kind of confirmed at a fairly high level the school taxes, but I was not able to use the web to confirm the town tax. Did we tried? Where did I go? We tried. Oh geez, what am I doing? Let's just see. Let's remember. I forgot already. Let's look up Brinson. What was the Apple Miner estimate? Oh, there's two of them, really? All right. We're gonna view all of them. We're gonna pick the one that's the right one, because I this time I searched for the name instead of searching for the address, because I thought it would be easy, but now. Okay, it's loading up. Here's that information for Laura Brinson and her property here. And we go back down. We were here before. So they had the school tax at $24.7132 versus our $25.68.64. Again, for me, that's a pretty decent estimate, right? That's pretty good. And then they've got their county tax at $15.68.97. But I would want to call that county tax, by the way, is the same thing as the town/county tax. It's both. So I would call the town of Sydney, and I would ask the clerk, could I have their tax records for 17500 County Highway 23, section 116.1-60, and she'll email that over to me. And then I would have my school tax and my town tax. That's about as easy as it gets, and it's not super easy. It does take just that time to make those calls. But then once you have those, you can save those as PDFs and then save them in the folder that you have for your seller or whatever it is, or your buyer, and then you can forward those to attorneys, and you have those on file to forward to other agents that make requests, and you can be a high-level pro because you have all the proper tax information on file. And you can also put those PDFs into the MLS, and then other agents can download them, and they don't have to necessarily even ask you, but you've been thorough and they respect you for being a high-level pro, right? So I hope this helped as a tax primer, and that's about it. I do hope that in Matrix this stuff might be more accurate and easier to use. So that's the hope, but I don't know for right now. For now, we're stuck in a world where we're using either Apple Miner or various websites, or we're calling the town, or talking to our seller. So I hope that helps. Again, we'll have a session with all the links that I use in the world. I'll have a class where we go over that, but basically Google, man, just look stuff up. Just look up town of whatever, or tax lookup, or info tax online, There might be a few others. I haven't found any others that are super good. Some are subscription services, and they end up being just as poor as this or worse. So take the web as what it is. It's a tool, but it's not perfect. The towns don't have the bandwidth to put everything online all the time, so that's what they do. Just call. Basically, call the town, call the school, make it easy. Okay, hope that helps. Take care. Bye.